All right, Motos in Moab. This is my first time doing a audio over instead of actually vlogging from the seat of my motorcycle. Um, Basically, I just forgot my mic, but you can see these dudes going around the campfire. This is on like the second night, I think. It was a little less crazy than the first night when they started the bonfire. But yeah, Motos in Moab, went all the way out to Moab for this big motorcycle rally. So this is day one. This is our ride that turned into a disaster. You can see the CB here going over these stairs. Look at that. Sweet. So I decided to go for it as well. Much heavier bike. And this is way more epic in real life than it was on the POV helmet cam. Like that was both tires a foot off the ground in the air. Just insane. Coming up past all this flat rock. So we got up that morning, tried to figure out what kind of trail we were going to do, trying to hit Moab really hard. Decided we would do Chicken Corner Trail, which is supposed to be an easy trail out in Moab. Yeah, it turns out it's easy by Utah standards, but by Colorado standards, it might be a little bit more on the difficult side, especially on the Scrambler. And you can see all this slip rock, hill climbing. Here we go into some deep sand, and this is just nasty. Like, I've watched a lot of videos on how to ride in sand, but the reality is you just have to practice. You're not going to get it from just watching videos. You got to practice a lot. But yeah, so the first night Motos in Moab was pretty cool. I mean, it's just such a hipster scene. So many modern classics, a lot of cruisers, but I think it's 70 or 80% modern classics. And when I say modern classics, I mean there were some R9Ts, there were some Ducati Scramblers, but for the most part, we're talking Bonneville, Thruxton, and Scrambler. And mostly Bonnevilles, but nonetheless, there are plenty of Thruxtons. I actually saw a decent number of Scramblers as well. Yeah, so you can see the CB got dropped here. I think this is the first drop. Pretty nasty up in this little embankment, but like not that big a deal. Just okay, pull it over. It was almost vertical even on the drop. Yeah, and you can see the deep sand just completely screwed up his brake lever. So we stopped and fixed that. And then here I am on some deep sand trying to find a spot to park the bike because we've been dropped again. I think this is drop number 2 for the CB. Yeah, this drop was pretty legit. I think the brake lever really got screwed up on this one. Kickstands up, 2 dudes using bad technique. Boom. And there it is, off again. So it was like a disaster the night before the trip. Yeah, you can see us bending that brake lever back into place, trying to get these tires onto the Honda. Never done a tire change on the Honda. The only tires I've ever changed were the ones on my bike, so getting the wheels off was just crazy painful. Didn't have a manual or anything. There's very limited information on the internet on it, but we got it done. Put a TKC 80 in the back, TKC 80 in the front and a Hide Now on the back. Pretty legit. And I'm still running Metzler Torrances at this point. That's a huge mistake for this trail. Probably should have been running TKC 80s, really. This is about as much mud as we actually encountered. It was pretty dry out there for the most part. But yeah, this turned into a disaster pretty quickly. We went almost to the end of Chicken Corner Trail. Decided it was getting late. We'd been out on the trail for about an hour and a half or 2, and we wanted to turn back so we could actually get lunch at a decent hour. And coming back, just made a wrong turn. You're going to see it here in a moment. So you see this biker, he's going to the right. That's the trail up there on the right. I went to the left, completely unaware. I mean, you're just not looking at your phone. You're paying attention. This is way more downhill than it looks, into this sand trap. And then all of a sudden, you're just like, yeah, this is deep, thick sand. And I'm trying my best here to use the techniques I've seen on YouTube and try and keep the bike up, going flat out, second gear, trying to stay up. These trees, these little bushes and trees kind of hid what was coming around this bend here. So you can see I'm really picking up speed. And then I'm like, oh, shit, left-hand turn, not going to make it. Boom! That's the drop. There it is. That's what did me in. You can see the pannier totally just sheared right off the bike. Bike comes up easy enough, I mean, it's only 500 pounds. You can see there's fluid leaking, shift lever's all screwed up. So at this point, realized that I had an oil leak that actually came from bottoming out on the flat rock, punctured my oil filter, completely unrelated to the fall. But after the fall, I couldn't get out of third gear. So third gear probably could make it home, but I can't make it home without any oil in my bike. And so these guys on ATVs volunteered to put this strap around my bike and at least pull me out of the sand trap and get me a little bit further down the road. It was kind of sketchy, though. This guy that was riding on the ATV to the left, he knew what he was doing, but this guy that was actually controlling my ATV, he had no idea what was going on. Yeah, and you can see that's exactly why they say, like, don't tie the strap to your bike, like, hold on to it. But this is my first time doing this, and the bike's 500 pounds. I mean, there's just no way my hand was going to get in there and be able to hold that thing. So he takes me all the way to the top of this ridge, but there's a way on the right side of this road that we could have just stayed down, not going up the hill. And I was just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just drop me off here. I'll be fine. I'll put it in the third gear and lose a little more oil and just park it down there, and we'll figure out what we're going to do from here. So I go down this hill. I park in this little spot over here, and I just start waiting and sent the CB off to get some help, find a truck, something. So that's it. Parked. What a disaster. Couldn't go anywhere. You can see the oil leak, see all this tape and glue and stuff people were coming by giving me. I was trying to seal the thing up, couldn't get it sealed up. So I finally decided to hitch a ride because I'd been waiting for 3 or 4 hours. I got in the back of this side-by-side that this dude was driving. I swear, I was in that thing for about 15, 20 minutes. This guy was going flat out the whole time, just shredding around corners. I mean, I couldn't tell if he was intentionally going that fast because he was just trying to drop me out of the thing or what, but it was insane. This is probably the highlight of this entire Chicken Corner Trail, honestly. Riding in the back of this side-by-side was completely Mad Max. I thought I was going to freaking die. We're going all around these red rock cliffs. It was just insane. I mean, what an insane experience. Trying to hold onto this stupid selfie stick so I can get some decent footage. You can see that drop off over there is no joke. Yeah, but as we were going down the trail, the guy told me, hey, if you see your buddies coming in the truck, holler at me, man. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know how I'm going to recognize them. But after we go around this corner and go around the next corner, I see this U-Haul coming down the mountain real slow. And I think, the only people crazy enough to bring a U-Haul out here are the people that are coming to help me out. It's got to be them. Sure enough, it was them. So I hopped out, got in the U-Haul, and we started going that way. And honestly, making it there in the U-Haul, that was sketchy. I mean, that was sketchier probably than riding the bike there. 2-wheel drive, U-Haul, extra long bed. I mean, there's just no plausible way that we should have made it in that thing. But fortunately, our driver was one of the guys who was a part of the Motos In Moab event. And there's the bike, back of the truck. Crazy that we made it. It was just super sketchy out there in the 2-wheel drive. And there's a Ural passing by. So the guy that helped us out, his name is Fuzzy Nate. He actually owns a barbershop in Salt Lake City, sandwiched in between Salt Lake City Builds and some other motorcycle shop that was responsible for the event. You guys should totally check out Fuzzy Nate. He was an awesome dude. So I had to ride 2 up into town the next day. This is us coming back. That totally sucked. I'm a terrible passenger. I should never ride 2 up from the back seat. And this is the campground. So what did I think of Motos In Moab? I mean, it was a really interesting event. I mean, I would say that it was not a festival or even an event, really. It was more like we all paid $70 to be able to camp at a unique and particular spot with other people. Mini bike, 2-stroke mini bike. This thing was awesome. You guys will get a great view of the campsite with me riding this thing around. It was just so much sketchier than it looks. It basically doesn't have any suspension at all. And you can see that truck to the left. My bike's in the back right there, ready to go for the next morning. But yeah, I mean, it kind of sucked for me because after Saturday, I didn't get to do any other riding. I was pretty much done at that point. But I just thought the event was very interesting. It was okay as a whole. Very, very hipster intense crowd, which I kind of expected, but I met a lot of really interesting and nice people from all over the West Coast. Really, I didn't meet a lot of people from, I would say much further east than Mississippi. There were some people there from like New Jersey and Michigan, but I didn't get a chance to really talk to those folks. I know I encountered some people that were from some pretty far off places. But I mean, you see that fine dust in the air. It just stuck in the air the whole time. It just gets in your lungs. It was terrible. Motos in Moab was cool. It was rowdy. It was super hipster. Will I go back next year? I don't know. Maybe I might go back next year just because it was like a really good centralized place to get all of these folks together, meet them, say hello, and then go out into Moab and explore. But I think they could have done a bit of a better job actually organizing for something to be happening as part of the event. It just could have been a little bit better put together. At the same time, I mean, the entire point of an event like this is that it's not put together and that it's kind of insane. But I mean, overall, I had a really good time. I thought it was worth it. It wasn't the adventure that I was looking for with the Scrambler totally getting, just laying the Scrambler down in a bad way and totaling it for the duration of my ride. It turns out that it was exactly what I expected the second I crashed it. Ironically, a week or two before, I was just reading on the forum on the triumphrat.net, like just looking at random stuff like I do in the Twins technical discussion section, and found a thread all about, guys drop their bike in the garage and then the bike won't shift. So there's a shifter rod that is actually attached to the shift pedal, and that rod is made of incredibly soft metal and it will bend very easily. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. The thing that really sucks is the ground clearance on the bike is really what took me out of being able to even get home, even though the shifting obviously was an issue. And then I think the CB got dropped 4 times total, and man, no problems. Just bent the brake lever back into place, no big deal. So this is our bikes in the back of the truck. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. This is my first voiceover. Hope you guys liked it, and click subscribe right now. Do it. All right, yeah. Thanks. Bye.